Well, tonight, CHRAJ recommends investigation and possible prosecution of members of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral after recommending the termination of the contract, describing it as illegal and void. We have details as CHRAJ says $312 million construction contract awarded to Rebadi Company Limited raises reasonable suspicion of corruption and corruption-related offences. Plus, CHRAJ clears Reverend Victor Kusibuating of conflict of interest allegations leveled against him by Samuel Okudzoto-Ablakwa, who originated the scandal. A stop story brought to you always by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Tonight, top Christian leaders who served or are currently serving on the National Cathedral Board of Trustees are to face a possible prosecution as the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, CHRAJ, recommend that they are investigated. This follows CHRAJ's recommendation of an immediate termination of the National Cathedral construction contract. The contract, which CHRAJ found was illegally awarded to Rebadi Limited in the sum of a staggering $312 million, has been the subject of public controversy following a series of publications by NDC MP for North Tongue Samuel Okudzoto-Ablakwa. Now, the MP had claimed that the contract was illegally awarded and the state was releasing public funds for the project without parliamentary approval. Now, the National Cathedral, a central case in the NDC's failed attempt to censure former finance minister, following a petition filed by Tongue MP. CHRAJ has now issued its decision, and my colleague Kwekwa Sante, who is with our legal affairs desk, has been combing through the 165-page document and joins me with details on the like. Kweku, first, remind us briefly of the antecedent of this particular matter and how that ended up as CHRAJ.
So, Brace, you will recall, and our audience also may recall, that in the last few years in particular, Samuel Okudzoto-Ablakwa of North Tongue has been releasing series of documents purporting to show payments that have been made from state coffers for the construction of the national $312 million project, as we now know it, have become that subject of major controversy because Okudzoto-Ablakwa had also claimed that the project did not get parliamentary approval in terms of the releases that were being made. The former finance minister, Ofori-Atta, continued to release sums up until the time that he was relieved of office earlier this year. So Samuel Okudzoto-Ablakwa, really not happy about the turn of events, plus also allegations that monies have been paid into private hands, decided to petition CHRAJ. It has taken months. CHRAJ has looked at evidence before it, including some exhibits presented by Samuel Okudzoto-Ablakwa, lawyers of Reverend Kusibuating as well, and a number of other documents that the CHRAJ, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, did follow and has now arrived at this conclusion. So that is the brief facts concerning this matter, Brace.
Interesting there. Again, on what basis does CHRAJ find that the contract was illegally awarded and therefore must be terminated?
So CHRAJ says that this contract should have also got concurrent approval from the Central Review Committee. In fact, a quote from the findings of the committee of says this contract was awarded by the Board of Trustees to the contractor without recourse to the concurrent approval by the Central Tender Review Committee, a key requirement of the Procurement Act having regards to the contract sum. It continues that the National Cathedral of Ghana did not strictly comply with the rules of public procurement provided for under Act 663 as amended by Act 914 when it purported to select and award the contract for the construction of the National Cathedral to Rebadi Limited. The contract awarded to Rebadi Company Limited for the construction of the National Cathedral is therefore illegal and void ab initio. The procurement breaches that occasioned the award of the contract to Ribade Company Limited raises reasonable suspicion of corruption and corruption-related offences. And so if you read the full report, CHRAJ does a detailed work in terms of reviewing the public procurement laws and actually arrives at the conclusion that not only was this contract awarded illegally, the process leading up to this was simply done in a manner that were not consistent with the Public Procurement Act, for which reason it has come to the conclusion that this $312 million project contract awarded to Ribadi is void. It's supposed to say that the contract was void right from the start, and there's actually no legal contract as we speak.
Now, CHRAJ says the Board of Trustees, which we all know are made up of top Christian leaders, must be investigated and possibly first.
Well, yes, according to this work done by Mr. Whittal, who is the commissioner of CHRAJ, it has listed a number of top Christian leaders who all served at the Board of Trustees at one time, some of them still serving on the board, and refer them to the special prosecutor for them to be investigated and possibly prosecuted. I read, it says, the commission is making a referral of this case to the office of the special prosecutor or the of further investigations and prosecution of the Board of Trustees and members of the National Cathedral, if necessary. The commission notes that under Section 3A of the Office of Suspected Corruption and Corruption-Related Offences, this call for investigation and subsequent prosecution is necessary and is directed at the Board of Trustees, who were members as of 2021, and Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, Executive Director of the National Cathedral of Ghana. So, for emphasis, these are the members that CHRAJ is asking for them to be investigated and possibly prosecuted. Apostle Professor Opoku-Onina, who then at some point was the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, who chaired the Board of Trustees, CHRAJ says he must be investigated and possibly prosecuted. Archbishop Charles Palmer Buckle, that is the Metropolitan Catholic Archbishop of Cape Coast, the vice chair of this Board of Trustees. Most Reverend Bishop Justice Ofori-Atta, Anglican Bishop, Right Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, a former moderator of the Presbyterian Church, Most Reverend T.K. Awatri Pratt, presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, presiding Archbishop and General Overseer of Action Chapel International, Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi, Bishop Dark Heward Mills, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, Reverend Victor Kusi, and Reverend Dr. Frimpong Manso. It must be stated that as of now, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Bishop Dark Heward Mills, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, and a number of these top Christian leaders have resigned from the Board of Trustees. But because of their alleged conduct on this, the CHRAJ investigation has come to the point that they did conduct themselves in a way that to be done, and then ultimately passports, 3 of which have expired, and 1 diplomatic passport under his name, Kwabena Jemfi, with the same date of birth. The 4th respondent, again, that is Reverend Kusi Boateng, as both director of the National Cathedral and the 5th respondent company, did not put himself in a position where his personal interest conflicted or was likely to conflict with the performance of the functions of his office, as no transaction for the provision of services existed between the National Cathedral and 5th respondent. And all this is about some 2.6 million cedis paid by the National Cathedral to JNS Talent Company Limited, a company owned by Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng. And a claim had been made that this money was for no other than And given that Reverend Victor Kusibuati was secretary and this insider dealing of the sort was going on between the two, it was something that it should have been dealt with. CHRAJ concludes by saying that only what happened was that Reverend Victor Kusibuati advanced a $2.6 million loan, 2.6 million CD loan, which was interest free to the National Cathedral of Ghana, which was actually subsequently paid back, and that there was no conflict of interest. Of course, it does not go into the other matters that have gone to court and the court have dealt with in terms of double identity, etc. But it strictly deals with the matter of the passports as well as the 2.6 million CDs paid from the National Cathedral of Ghana to the respondent company, that is JNS Talent, owned by Reverend Victor Kusibuati. So these are the major findings that CHRAJ has come to when it comes to this matter.
Grateful to you, Kweku Asante. There, we'll try and get the petitioner himself, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, and get some more details and speak to him on what he makes of this particular report. But let's speak to a private legal practitioner to understand what these issues are. We have been joined on the line by Bobby Banson, who is a lawyer. Grateful to you for joining us here. Now, CHRAJ is clearing your client because you were a lawyer for Reverend Victor Kusibuati here. Should it be coming to you as good news? I guess that's good news for you, isn't it?
We all can have different opinions, but we all cannot have different facts. The facts are very clear. You petition that the Prophet Victor Kusibuati has two passports, one bearing Victor Kusibuati, another bearing Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi. You didn't provide evidence of those passports in your own petition. You petitioned that he has collected money for doing some work. The evidence showed that he gave a financial assistance at all points in time with the communication between the National Cathedral himself. And he doesn't own JNS. He's only a director of JNS. He doesn't own it. Indicated that they were aware that he's the same person. Letters were written requesting for those. All those facts were there. So there cannot be different facts. At the end of the day, CHRAJ has come up with their conclusion, their findings of fact, which says that all the allegations made against him were not supported by the evidence on record. And I believe that it settles the matter of all the hula baloo that has been made against the personality of the Prophet Victor Kusibuati. That this should bring an end to this matter.
But does your client to take any action against these findings by CHRAJ?
There's already an action in court, a defamation suit on the basis of these allegations that have been made. And so that matter is proceeding, so I will not be able to speak to it.
But CHRAJ again says, and I want to quote this, CHRAJ says, it is noteworthy that the other allegation contained in the complainant 09 March 2023 letter, which revolve around the fourth respondent allegedly making false statement or declaration in order to obtain two tax identification numbers in both 2013 and 2016, are matters falling outside the mandate areas of the Commission and thus will not be delved into. This is particularly so because the relevant time at which the purported act were allegedly taken, the fourth respondent was not a public officer. The fourth respondent only became a public officer in March 2017 when the National Cathedral Board was inaugurated. Then it concludes to say, accordingly, the Commission is making a referral to the Attorney General of this allegation for investigation and necessary action.
That matter, the GRA said they're already investigating it. There was a letter they issued which was made public. All the cooperation has been given to the relevant state agencies. If they would find anything wrong with it, I'm sure we will deal with it. So far, there has not been any finding of anything that has been done wrongly. I will not go into the details because the GRA said they are investigating. The timelines are very key as to what law became applicable when and what law criminalized it. All of it has been made available. CHRAJ mentioned that the first one was obtained in 2013, the second one was obtained in 2016. The law that says that it was illegal for one person to have two things came into effect at a later date. And those matters are before the state entities that said they are investigating these matters. And so, as it stands now, if you go to GRA website, I'm sure you would see that they would say that if any person has 2 tax identification numbers, you can link them. Or if you have a Ghana card, the Ghana card is what replaces the TIN. And so all these matters are before the relevant state agencies, and I'm sure they will finish with their investigations if there's anything worth investigating at all.
Kindly stay with me because I'll need some input from you later on. Let me bring in Samuel Okudzu-Tablakwa. He is the man who sent the petition to CHRAJ and has been championing this particular case. I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, first off, how do you react to these findings by CHRAJ?
Well, these are very far-reaching findings. CHRAJ is confirming that the National Cathedral Board of Trustees did not follow due process, that they violated our procurement laws. They are saying that the contract awarded to Ribade is illegal, is void, ab initio. CHRAJ is also recommending the prosecution of members of the Board of Trustees. These are very, very damning, explosive findings. And it confirms all the issues that we had raised. This whole project started on the basis of deception, a grand attempt to mislead the general public, the clergy, and the almighty. You'll recall the president said that they were not using public funds. This was a private project. CHRAJ has confirmed what we discovered, that apparently on the blind side of Parliament, on the blind side of all of us, contrary to the assurances we had been given, this project was a public project which was being massively, overwhelmingly funded by taxpayer funds. And the shocking levels of lack of transparency, lack of accountability. And CHRAJ is saying in his report that they have basis, the massive breach in our procurement laws gives CHRAJ the basis to conclude that there is reasonable grounds for corruption and corruption-related offenses to have occurred. And that is why CHRAJ is calling for prosecution. CHRAJ is saying that the Auditor General should quickly move in and conduct a forensic audit. CHRAJ is also saying that it is absolutely crucial that there is a value for money audit, that what they see, the amount of money expended, does not really convince them that the $58 million spent on this project, what we should be seeing is what we are seeing. That's the world's most expensive pit, as it has now been christened. That should not have the value of $58 million. So this is a very, very damning report, which confirms all the things we have been talking about, and those who sought to create the impression that we were just engaged in propaganda and that we didn't have any basis for the criticism against National Cathedral project. I believe that the evidence, what CHRAJ has put forth, should settle the matter.
I mean, your point is about getting to the bottom of this matter. Now, CHRAJ says the Board of Trustees, these men of God, should be investigated and prosecuted. Was that something that you were looking for? And this recommendation coming out of CHRAJ, how do you expect it to be handled?
We live in a country of laws. Nobody is above the law, and it is not the wish of anybody that people are prosecuted or are put in a situation that they will have to answer for, their infractions against the law. That is why in the very early days, when some of us cautioned and launched appeals upon appeals, that please, let's follow due process. Let's come to Parliament. Let's get approvals. Let's go to the PPA. You remember, many years ago, I did an RTI to the PPA. The PPA confirmed that this project had not been brought before them. We were sounding the alarm bells many, many years ago. That was an opportunity after that RTI request for the National Cathedral Board of Trustees, for the government to just do the right thing. But they were so intransigent. They kept on just blowing our money. Carrie Summers ended up with $6 million. David Ajayi had over $30 million. I mean, they were just on a spending spree. And here we are.
No, David Ajayi's payment was 32 million cedis.
Yes, 32 million cedis. Yeah. Yes. Now here we are. And mind you, that the 32 million cedis, by the way, was the first payment. There was another $5.7 million for the variation that he did when he added a restaurant to the original design. So it goes beyond the 32 million cedis. But you see, the point is that due process, get procurement approvals, get parliamentary approvals. I mean, and let's discuss this. If you want to do a national project, they should have started with a national discussion. Then we all agree. Okay. Even the site for this project, should we have demolished all of those iconic buildings we demolished? The Judicial Training Institute, the Judges' Bungalows, the Scholarship Secretariat, the Passport Head Office, the Bungalows of CHRAJ, the Malian Ambassador's Residence, firm. Now, who is going to compensate all those people? Some of them are in court demanding compensation.
So it's your expectation
this is just madness.
So it's your expectation that this Board of Trustees should be prosecuted in accordance to what CHRAJ is recommending?
The CHRAJ recommendations will have to be implemented.
Okay. All right.
Because why should we engage in a pick and choose?
Okay. But Reverend, your issues about conflict of interest against Reverend Victor Boateng was found to be meritless.
Yes, that aspect of the CHRAJ report is strange indeed. You have CHRAJ, when you read the report, say that they didn't have documentation and that they share levels of bad corporate governance. It's shocking that they didn't write minutes. And they even say that the only document they brought to justify that transfer of the 2.6 million was after the fact.
No,
when the money had already been transferred.
But the report says the IFC provided evidence that there was a transfer of 2.6 million from the Reverend's company to the National Cathedral as an interest-free loan. So that really did not amount to a conflict of interest. Don't you think it's about time you apologize to him?
Apologize for what? The double identity scam he engaged in is the government of this issue. Until this expose, who knew in Ghana that he was operating two different identities? Nobody knew. And that is the foundation of this matter.
Okay,
that's the foundation of this matter, and that remember, that is a matter that has been settled by the High Court.
Okay.
Read the Human Rights Court judgment on this matter. The court was very clear that his conduct borders on criminality. I'll send a copy of the judgment to you. I'll forward it to you right now. I have a soft copy. So what should I apologize for? A matter that has been settled by a High Court.
Okay, all right. I'm grateful to you. Let me bring in Adam Senano, who's an anti-corruption campaign. Adam, what do you expect to happen next?
Sorry, what do
you expect to happen next based on the recommendations by CHRAJ?
Well, two substantive things I see there. First, that they indicate they do not have the competency to tell whether Ghana has received value for money, considering the huge sums of money expended to date. And so recommend that the Auditor General get into a value for money audit. I think it is a substantive recommendation, and I believe that the Auditor General is well pleased to be able to do that, and so they should. The second one was to recommend investigation and prosecution because certain procurement laws have been breached. They specifically mentioned Act 663. And I think that there again, it may, at the end of the day, benefit some of the board members if they tend to be exonerated. So the investigation must come on to find out whether this breach of procurement laws was intentional or not. And to the extent of its breaches, whatever sanctions need to be applied may have to be considered. It's extremely embarrassing and disappointing because in the first instance, I assume that a board of this nature should have been composed to have the necessary procurement and other expertise. Obviously, that does not appear to have happened. And the caliber and stature of the persons make this quite, embarrassing and a disappointment. I wish they had consulted appropriately to prevent these kind of things from happening.
I'm grateful for that particular point that point. But if you look at the extent that they say they were not able to even provide minutes of board meetings, what should this finding by CHRAJ inform our state boards going forward?
Honestly, I can't understand why would compose boards purely of clergymen when we know that the work of a board has very technical elements. I mean, they are the strategic elements, they are the financial projections, the approvals. Going forward, you need to make sure that the boards we compose are boards that have the kind of expertise to deliver on the mandates that are, written out for them. And we don't need to learn this lesson several times over.
Okay.
Right. And also, I think that it's clear that nobody is above the law, and therefore, if you get into a position of a board, you need to ensure that you understand what is required of you.
Okay.
I think that training is also necessary for board members.
All right.
There are many spaces where persons may not have pure experience or exposure, and therefore come and they are going to make a mess of what is required. So these are some of the things that we ought to be looking at going forward.
All right. I'm grateful to you for coming in for me. Adam Senano is an anti-corruption campaigner. We also heard from lawyer for Reverend Victor Kusi-Boateng, Bobby Banson, and Samuel Okujota Black. I'm grateful to you, gentlemen, for joining us. This has been Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, Connecting Energies and Holy Incense Pray and Coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Up next is Newsnight.